Beef Rendang is a heavily spiced and aromatic braise made in coconut milk, and every time I make it, it moves higher and higher up my favorite dishes of all time. I think at this point, it might be in my top 5 favorite dishes, so let's cook. Okay, so this dish, very easy to make. However, the hard part is there are a couple of specific ingredients that might be a little bit harder to find, but if you don't run to like an Asian grocery store or something, you should be able to find them. First is gonna be lemongrass, which is just wonderfully aromatic, and this is kind of one of the key differentiators for this recipe. Secondly would be galangal, which is not the same as ginger. I'm kind of just using ginger here, but if you can find galangal, find it. It is different. They're definitely similar, but they are also different as well. And then the other ingredient is macroot lime leaves. I couldn't find the leaves, but I actually happened to find the actual lime. So I think I'm gonna use some of this zest, but regardless of if you can find everything to make a very traditional version or kind of mix and match some of the stuff that you happen to find, it's gonna be really good regardless. So to start this up, just getting some oil down in this pan. And then what we're going to do is use some stew meat over here. And this is basically just braised chuck, or like a chuck roast or something like that. They already have these prepackaged at the grocery store for stew meat. And I was like, you know what, that's perfect for what I'm doing. And with stew meat like this, what's great about it is you can get it evenly salted very quickly. And then you can also get really good browning on all the little pieces. So all we're gonna do with the beef here, nice sprinkle over all of it, and then mix it up. And then I'm probably gonna sear this in batches just so I can make sure I get some really good browning down on all of these individual beef chunks. All right, so I'm gonna toss maybe half of this in to start. And then really I'm trying to work and get some like nice brown bits on all these pieces. So take your time, get the good browning because you're not gonna be able to brown this again. And this is a lot of flavor that we're gonna be recreating as part of this curry. All right, and then I'm just gonna transfer this out and then we'll fry the kind of the other half. And then all this is going in here, so I won't bother washing that cutting board just yet. But while this is continuing to sear up, the lemongrass is just, you kind of just keep it plain. So I'm just going to I'm going to take off the very bottoms. And then other than that, I just, you know, you can put them in their whole, I'm just going to cut them into thirds. And then kind of just break these up just a little bit. Just to kind of help expedite that process to get those like aromatic, man, it smells so good. Just the uniqueness of that is amazing. And then for our other aromatics, it's really just some shallot, the ginger, again, normally galangal, but you make a quick paste, and then that's going to go in with our beef. And then for this ginger, I'm not even really going to bother to grate it. I'm going to be blitzing everything up anyway, so pretty easy to just do it all in here. All right, getting closer here. This one little piece of shallot will not grate up. All right, keeps dancing around the bowl. Okay, but yeah, we've got some really good browning going on in here, and this should be pretty like smoky when you're doing this. Like you can see, I mean, we're getting some deep fond on these pieces. Like, ooh, I mean, look at that really close up, deep brown Maillard reaction. I mean, that's really what we want to get out of this. And then you can see on this pan, we've got a lot of that fond that's really gonna be, that's all gonna be picked up once we actually make the curry. I'm actually crying a little bit from this shallot too. Oh man. Okay, so I'm gonna turn down the heat a little bit, just down to kind of medium. I'm gonna toss all of our beef back on. And then we'll start adding these aromatics in here in a second. And I nearly forgot, we need a couple cloves of garlic as well. So I'm going to toss that into here. Okay. And then here's where we really start building the amazing aromatic base from this dish. So this is all our ginger, garlic, and shallot. Mix all of that in. Also very important here, we've got some turmeric. So I'm just gonna kind of do, this is what kind of gives it that nice bright yellow color. I'm gonna do like 2 spoonfuls worth. You can add, again, this, like braising dishes are recipes that they don't need to be uber specific. Like you can be mixing and matching aromatics. You can throw a bunch of different spices in there. It's all gonna turn out great at the end. Then additionally, at this stage, I like to add a little bit of some beef bouillon, just to kind of up that beefy flavor that we're gonna get in there. And then that'll mix with our braising liquid, which is gonna be some coconut milk. And man, already smells so good. Just so fresh and so aromatic. All right, a couple more spices as well. We're gonna do some coriander here, just for a little bit of that kind of like brighter floral note. We'll do like a heaping spoonful of that. And then I'll also do kind of a heaping spoonful of just some cumin seed. And right there, man, this dish is so, so good. Like I can't wait to actually eat this in a few hours. And then as always with braising dishes, you just gotta pour over your braising liquid now. So coconut milk in this case. And what's interesting about braising it in kind of the coconut milk here is over time it'll evaporate down and kind of concentrate. And this isn't, it'll be liquidy right now, but once this is actually done, I'm just gonna braise it in the oven. All that liquid will kind of have reduced down, and this will be a little bit of like a drier curry once we're actually done with it. Also, coconut milk, very different from like coconut water. It's, you know, obviously more concentrated and it has more of the, like the coconut aroma to it. You could probably try this with coconut water if you have it, but would have a much different flavor profile. Yeah, then we can just do this as kind of B-roll. Okay, so we've got everything mixed into here. And like I said, this is pretty liquidy right now, but the goal is to kind of reduce it over time. So we're gonna go in with all of our lemongrass, and then a lot of recipes will add kind of coconut flake. I actually have some toasted coconut that I made the other day. I was actually using it for like popcorn. I was messing around with stuff. So I'm actually gonna add some toasted coconut to like the final as like a final little garnish. Just gonna kind of have some fun with it. But really that's how, you know, simple this kind of is to set up. Like it's more work in the beginning, but then we're just gonna toss this whole thing into the oven and kind of forget about it for like 4 or 5 hours and come back and meet you there. And then I'm gonna throw the lid on just kind of half. Just kind of half on there. Okay, so it is actually a full day later. I took this out around 5:30 yesterday, and it was dark out. I just didn't feel like setting up the lights and the cameras and all that. So I threw this outside in nature's refrigerator for about an hour before transferring it to my refrigerator. Then just took it out today, popped it onto the stove, and this is absolutely incredible. The beef, absolutely just flaking apart. It took me everything in my power not to eat this off camera yesterday. But to plate this up, I'm gonna do kind of maybe a, slightly restaurant style version. I think this is more of like a home style dish, but if you know traditionally how this is served, let me know in the comments, but here is what I'm gonna do. Okay, so gonna spoon this over, and you can see, all this, all that water and coconut milk we had in there has really evaporated off, and we're left with just like a luscious, kind of saucy base, and like, oh my gosh, I cannot get over that, how good this is. So then next up, I'm gonna kind of garnish this a couple different ways. So first up, this is actually toasted coconut flake. So I made this like 2 weeks ago, just literally threw plain unsweetened coconut flakes into a pan, toasted them up, and then blended them. And for me, I think this is just gonna be a really, really nice addition to this. Because a lot of times you would see kind of adding coconut flakes to the spices earlier on. All right, then next up, I did try to zest the Macroot limes, but they didn't zest that well. So I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit on that, but there's not really much to it. I'm gonna serve it with some of these little lime slices. And then just for like a pop of red color, I've got some red chilies here. That's gonna work well. And then give that like that hit of acidity throughout this dish. And man, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Let's dive in. I cannot express just how delicious this dish is. I think a lot of people, kind of the first time you maybe make red wine braised short ribs, you're just like blown out of this world. I think this is similar, but on an even another scale. It's just, I love this flavor combination. The uniqueness of kind of all that lemongrass in there, paired with the coconut milk, the luscious, luscious beef, and then I love these Macroot limes. They're definitely interesting. They're definitely slightly different from, a normal lime. Have like a little bit of a different citrusy aroma to them. And then that toasted coconut flake, great, great addition. I don't know if it's super authentic or traditional, but it's a great addition. So I implore you, go try to find some lemongrass. Go find all the ingredients you can and try to make this dish. It is truly unbelievable. Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this probably the rest of the week. That will wrap it up for me in this one. The rest of it will be up on the website. As always, we will catch you in the next one. Peace, y'all.